And we are 15 minutes away from opening the grain and livestock trade here on a Crop Progress Tuesday. As far as the grain trade is concerned, Mark Oppold, thanks for joining us, whether watching RFDTV or a lot of folks tuning in on rural radio. Boy, I found that out at Ag PhD Field Day last Thursday in Baltic, South Dakota. A lot of you came up to say hello and visit a little bit. Our founder and president, Patrick Gotch, there for the day as well, and had a lot of conversation. Always enjoy that, to visit with our viewers and listeners. A lot of you mentioned rural radio, and mentioning our friends from Allendale as well, and all the information they provide. Rich Nelson joining us here to lead things off on a Crop Progress Tuesday. And Rich, the trade pressuring this market again overnight based on these crop conditions. Take a look at our national summary here, especially corn and soybeans.
You know, in terms of the overall numbers here this morning, we did see a decline in conditions yesterday. That was seen for corn, 1%. That means now 61% good to excellent here for the nation as a whole. Soybeans actually increased 2%. That was the big deal that people were quite surprised about here. And going down through the list, I see cotton now 56% good to excellent. Sorghum I've got at 61% good to excellent. And on the rice side of things here, heck, these numbers actually okay here, sitting all the way up to 71% good to excellent in the latest readings.
Just take a look across Interstate 80, if we might, here, and looking at corn and in soybeans. And we did see conditions in corn, no surprise there, down 3% in Iowa. Well, I'm not going to say not a surprise. Nebraska was unchanged. But what about Iowa there, down 3%?
That's definitely a good question. And their numbers are 65 good to excellent here. They're actually more or less in the middle of this whole Western Corn Belt group right now. And a lot of people have been looking at these guys as a bellwether for how the Western Corn Belt would go. So this decline here, maybe a little surprise here, but not something the trade wants to see.
And we did see that improvement, as you mentioned, in overall in the soybean trade. We'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to check here. Corn, Indiana up 2, Ohio up 1, but still way behind that Western Belt.
Certainly true here, and you're looking at the Indiana number. That's 49% good to excellent. In fact, Illinois here, the top producer of the Eastern Corn Belt, 63% good to excellent, which, for a leading state, that's certainly not something that which portrays a good crop right now.
And then we turn to I-80 and go across that same corridor looking at soybean conditions here. And what about that 7% jump in Illinois in 1 week?
And that's definitely a good question here for the soybean numbers, now at 66% good to excellent. Heck, it is really important to point out that Indiana, also right next to them, jumped 4%. So good numbers on the Eastern Corn Belt, rebounding situation. I wonder exactly what this means, though, for yields, because a lot of farmers are saying what it looks like from the road may or may not be exactly how it's going to look as far as inside the field. Yeah,
in Ohio, by the way, I'm getting that change at 48%. To those of you tuning in on RFDTV, should be 48% good to excellent. It is up 1%. Again, overall, your thoughts here in the condition, how corn can be down 1%, soybeans up 2% in the same states.
Yeah, certainly true. And so I think a lot of people are pointing out that perhaps things might not be as pretty as they could be. And one thing we're looking at as far as the corn is how well this pollination went in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Of news here for us, we're still going to watch this USDA report very closely, because this is the first one which shows an in-field survey combined with a farmer survey on yields as well.
Exactly. So before we get, that's a week from this Thursday. Set us up here for the day in the grain trade. A lot of pressure overnight. We're going to see some support early on here or not?
I sure think on the corn side, we're probably going to reach some levels where perhaps we're going to say this market is going to get to value right now. In fact, we suggest $3.80 is where fair value would be for futures if we do have a moderate yield cut, which we think is realistic. Now, for today's discussion on the soybeans, we are going to have some pressure. Let's see if we can get this market pushed back near those lows from recent days. 984.5 as far as the no contract. I'm not sure if we're going to break that, though.
Very good. Rich, thanks for your time as always, getting us started. We'll open the trade here in about 10 minutes, and we'll visit with you tomorrow morning.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Rich Nelson from Allendale. We're not done yet. Livestock trade coming up, and so is Ed Serwin, USDA, formerly USDA, now retired, but still helping us out every week, and he'll be here looking at this cattle trade when we come back.